Alright, back down to the boat, hidey ho once again. Go down, show the bowels of the beast shortly, and what's been going on, which has been a bit of a slow progress towards getting the issues resolved. So anyway, I'm going to pop down the back there and find a light. Hoping is down here. Oh yes, it is. And going to crawl into here and have a bit of a look. Having a bit of an issue with the bilge pump. I don't know what's going on there. It just seems to be a wee bit temperamental. Goes then doesn't, goes then doesn't. And I think what's been happening is that it's been backflowing down the pipe, the outlet pipe there, and reactivating the inbuilt float switch. So it's been turning on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, and it's not good for it. But anyway, so we'll try and sort that out. I have a non-return valve there to install, and I'll see if they can get the pump working again. So I don't like not having a bilge pump, automatic bilge pump in a boat. So anyway, as you can see, the reduction box, the bill says it's been removed. It hasn't been removed. The prop has been slid back, and if you can see down in there, the nut off the end of here has apparently been sliding backwards and forwards and has damaged the thread, by all account, or done something there. I'm a little bit unclear as to what exactly has happened. I'm off to go and pick up a complete transmission, 2UC Gardner 2UC transmission tomorrow, being Sunday, and we'll get it back. Bottom line is the parts hopefully can be used to repair the reduction box, and I'll have a complete gearbox / transmission as a spare. Ultimately may or may not be of use to me or somebody else in due course. So anyway, lot cleaner down here. Everything has been degreased. I am just going to go and have a little bit of a play shortly with that bilge pump. So we'll get upstairs and we'll go and have a look at what I've picked up. And I've also picked up a little device basically to suck out the excess water. There's nothing worse than trying to get your bloody hands into the water. Lying on my belly here with my hands down in the belly of the beast, and can't quite see what you're doing. It's all by feel. It's not a particularly pleasant job. So that's where we're at with here. So hoping that I get on and get things back up and running again in the very near future. I actually want to use the boat, but next job will be it has to come out. And I'll go up and I'll have a look and see if I can show you what they reckon the problem with the rudder was. Right, there's a rudder here. Now, I had to disconnect this. You can sort of see all the autopilot gear in there. The hydraulic steering. And apparently this here is a problem. They needs to be done. It needs to come out onto the hard, and possibly so that they can drop the rudder. Although there's something worn here or something that's a little screw. It's about ready to shear off, so it's not looking flash, that piece there, by the looks of it. Bit of water that's coming in through the top sides, and yeah, that's the other job that needs to be done once she's up and mobile again. So yeah, so looking at all of this, it's all a bit of a the original bowels of the beastie as well. emergency tiller there. So let's work out what's going on, but first of all we need to get all of the other jobs done. Right. Right, back from Watchwaker. This is the big chunk of steel here. See the reduction box on the back here. This is the part that's still attached to the transmission on the boat. All of this has been removed. The key difference with this one is that this has a extra shield or guard over there, and it looks as though some form of fan was fitted, maybe in there, some sort of cooling fan. Obviously we don't have that in Northern Star, obviously not a problem because that's been operating for some years without it. But all of this here, I believe that the problem has been inside here. There were signs that somebody had been into it previously, done some work on it in the boat, and something hadn't been done properly, and as a result of the nut, or locking nut coming off, has caused some damage, which is what they've picked up when they have been in there doing the oil changes or prepping for the oil changes. So anyway, this is a 2UC gearbox. It's been supplied previously by Shaw Diesels. It's two separate units here. Oh, a Gardner. But interesting to sort of see it after looking at diagrams online. Which is all part of the almost like a braking clutch system. It's really interesting to see it from this end, because obviously that bolts up to the crankshaft or the drive shaft of the motor, and obviously that slows it down so that you can change it in and out of gear. So it's a rather large chunk of steel, possibly about 250 kilograms thereabouts of weight. Obviously in Northern Star we have the gear levers on that side here. It doesn't have any of this here on it. This has been removed. So it looks as though it's in reasonable condition in there. So I'm hoping to be able to keep stuff as spares. I can hear it. That turning almost sounding like it's operating some form of pump, oil pump in there. obviously access through the top there, and the top half can be removed to give access into here to replace anything that needs to be replaced ultimately. But yeah, she's a big chunk of steel. Lucky the guy had a forklift to get it on with. I don't think I would have liked to have tried to get this on or in the back. Certainly wouldn't have wanted to stick it directly into the back of the Hyundai. So anyway, that's going to be dropped off down to Seafarers Marine tomorrow night. They can make a start on hopefully removing what they need to remove out of the reduction box to fix the reduction box to get to the boat mobile again. It's been a long day. Got away this morning. It's about 2.5 to 3 hours to Motueka from Waikawa here, and it's been a bit of a long day. Right, Heidi ho. That was a wee glimpse down into the bowels of the beast. You'll see that all the front half and the guts has been taken out of the reduction box. The prop shaft has been lashed to stop it moving. We're just waiting on the rest of the repairs to the reduction box to be done, and I've just been across to Motueka to pick up the second-hand transmission reduction box for a 2UC Gardner transmission, and I've just brought that back. Got it this morning. It looks to be in pretty good nick. As far as parts go, hopefully it should be sufficient to repair the reduction box, and I will keep the rest of the transmission as parts as well, should they be required over time. So I said to go through and have a look, received my first invoice, so the sort of work that's been going on here. Has removed belt tensioners and clean up, and that would appear to be the belt tensioner for the water pump that supplies the cuss bearing and the salt water hose / washdown up on deck. Replace bearings and reinstall. Degrease engine, remove coolers and fuel filter housings. Wash engine gearbox floor. Fit Raycor water separator and inlet hose. Drain bilge and remove oily rags and bilge. Suck out oil. Replace engine oil. Have fuel hose manufactured. Remove 300 litres of dirty water from the bilge. Remove reduction half of gearbox. Send away heat exchanger to have a new one built. Remove old hydraulic cooler. The old hydraulic cooler was fitted when the boat was working commercially, and I think scallop dredging and that sort of thing. The 300 litres of dirty water, that will have come as a result of washing the degreasing agent off the engine. There's no way the boat leaks that much, and the hull doesn't leak at all. Any water that's coming in is minimal, and it's rainwater during heavy periods of rain through various leaks topsides. The mats or rags in the bilge, they were the oil fuel mats that I put in there. I like to keep them in there because no matter how clean your bilge is, there's always a little bit of oil and contaminant there, and I'm always a wee bit loath to simply just have it discharging from an automatic bilge pump into the pristine waters of the Sounds. In fact, anywhere for that reason. Some 45 hours worth of labour, which is not surprising given how long anything takes to do in a boat, especially an older boat. Trying to free nuts and bolts and get in and out and get tools, and we all know that one simple job always turns into a hard one with 3 other jobs you've got to do before you can actually get to it. The Raycor fuel water separator was some $800, so I hope that that's going to be worth what I paid for it. Gardner fuel and oil filters, which is awesome. Quality oils, Shell and Penrite gear oils and Shell engine oil. Fittings for the new hose, banjo fittings, new cog to V-belt. The one that was there was pretty much stuffed. New deck groove bearing, possibly I think for the water pump. Coach screws, wooden bung set, waste oil and filter disposal, waste coolant disposal, freight consumables, ship pairers liability. Now, it's great to see the waste oil filters, fuel filters, and everything going to the right place. Unlike the bad old days where they would probably have gone into a skip and ended up in a landfill to gradually leach out somewhere into the waterways or contaminate the water table at some stage in the future, when it won't be my problem, but it becomes our future generations. So anyway, so that's a fair bit of work that's gone on to this point. The fly in the ointment is the reduction box. Need to get that repaired. Once that's repaired, you'll see from the footage there, I've then got to probably have it lifted out to sort out the issue with the rudder stop there. It appears that there's quite a bit of corrosion there, and there's a risk of that failing, which is something I don't want either. So yet another job to do, and it's a necessary job. So we'll haul that out, but I'm going to tie that up with doing a couple of other jobs at the same time. The copper sheeting over the small repair on the bow forefoot that was repaired last time the boat was out, and I'm going to apply some prop glide or prop speed to the prop. I never had time to do that when it was last out due to the time that it took to clean the hull down, anti-foul, and do other jobs between dodging the rain. That was the time I had it out for an insurance inspection report, so I could get insurance on the boat. Obviously being an older boat, there's always risk and extra demands on getting insurance, and a lot of insurance companies are ceasing to insure larger boats, launches, boats on moorings or in marinas. So it'll be quite interesting moving forward how that landscape develops over time. So there we are. Was also in there today, as you'll see from the footage, having a play with the bilge pump. Still playing up. I still think it's shot, even though it seems to be working. I fitted the non-return valve in the outlet hose. Has made a little bit of a difference, but pump's still doing some funny little things. So I think it probably needs to come out, and I think what's caused the problem is on and off all the time with the water flowing back down the outlet pipe into the bilge, re-triggering it. Potentially a little crud and everything that's been in there as well. I'm unsure whether there's actually a sensor that it activates, or if it's whether the float comes into contact with something. I couldn't see anything. It may be that there's a good layer of scum and oily, greasy, mucky stuff on there that's preventing it from working properly. But then saying that, it does seem to work, but then when it's sitting at rest every now and then, it just very quickly just turns on and off, and it does that a little bit, then there's nothing, and it does it again. But I think I'm just going to simply have to do something about replacing it with a better setup and a better system. I do a little bit of research online with that, whether I'm better having a separate float switch instead of an inbuilt float switch, and fastening that to a piece of stainless steel to put in the bilge just to hold it in the right location, or whether I go for another pump with an inbuilt float switch. I sort of have old float switches there, and I have some other pumps there. So going for a separate float switch may be the answer in my view. The thing is, I do want to get the float switch as close to the bottom, lowest part of the bilge as possible, so that there's never a huge amount of water, if it happens to get any water, into the boat sitting there at any one time. And of course the other thing I do like to do on occasion is flush a bit of salt water through. Salt water being heavier than fresh water. So I have formed a bit of a belief that it gets in there and helps to pickle or preserve the wood, so that if you do get any fresh water in there for a long period of time, and we all know that fresh water is the enemy of old wooden boats, is hopefully it'll preserve the timbers a little bit better than just simply leaving fresh water slopping around in the bilge. But like I said, there's never really a lot in there in any case, but whether that's a fallacy or a myth, dating back to stories that you hear of old skippers salting the bilge with bags of salt, or even just half flooding the hulls with seawater, who knows. But I do know with the leaking garboard seam there that there was a lot of water coming in and out, seawater coming in and out of that area and into the bilge for quite some time in any case. So any oil residue hasn't preserved, hopefully, the salt from the ingress of water, salt water, will do. But I do know everything was ringing like a bell when I had the shipwright replace the caulking and the hemp in there. So anyway, so you'll just see that the next wee brief video is some footage of the 2UC gearbox I've just been across and picked up from Motueka. Looks pretty good. Next step to get it down to seafarers so they can access it and get the bits off they need to repair Northern Star's reduction box. So I hope you have enjoyed that. We'll keep you up to date with what's going on. And just another thing, thanks for the comments and the feedback around the music. I'll cut most of the music out, and when I do use some music, I might use some more soothing or appropriate music. I had a couple of comments from people that they couldn't deal with the music and didn't enjoy the footage and the content, but because of that, one person just said no, they were gone by. But hey, look, thanks for your feedback. It's good to know. I'm not a professional YouTuber or streamer or videographer or whatever. This is all pretty raw stuff. It's going to happen as it happens. Sometimes it'll be good, sometimes it'll be bad, sometimes it'll be disjointed, sometimes you're going to get a finger or a thumb over the screen. But I'm working on improving things, and no doubt as I get further along, the footage and content will hopefully get a bit better, especially once we get the boat mobile again and start to get some more footage and better footage around the sounds of the boat operating and some of the repairs that I will be hoping to start in summer when the weather improves. So take care out there, be safe and enjoy it, and share and click like and all that sort of palaver, and we'll catch you next time round.